Thank you so much for coming. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for attending our evening of student presentations at the Center for Louisiana Studies. I'm Dr. Rachel Doherty. I'm the Assistant Director for Programming and Special Projects, and it's my pleasure to introduce two students who worked with us, one for the past semester and one for the past year. I'm really looking forward to seeing the presentations for all of the hard work that they put in. The first presentation that we have this evening is from Kallie Barron. Kallie is a she's going to be graduating with her master's just in a week or a month. And she's going to be getting a master's in public history. And the Center for Louisiana Studies was the public partner for her capstone project. And the second presentation that we have this evening is by Hinton Thornton. Hinton was our fellow. So Hinton was the recipient of a special fellowship. It's the Frank DeCaro Memorial Undergraduate Award for Folklife Field Research and Media Documentation. He received this fellowship over the course of the past year, and tonight he's going to be showing you the results of his year-long research journey that he did on the Lebanese community in Spain.
We ready?
So yes, Hinton received an undergraduate award. So tonight it's our pleasure and our honor to be able to showcase the research of a graduate student and an undergraduate student, both of whom are focusing in Louisiana studies. So join me in thanking Hinton and Kallie.
Started. I'm sure we're going to have some more people come in. We have a lot of people coming today, so that's always awesome. So, as Rachel just mentioned, my name is Kallie. I got my master's in public history from UL, my minor's in American history. And so part of our program was to do a public history capstone project. So mine was an oral history and recipe archive of the rural Cajun community. So I really would like to thank Rachel and Pud for putting this on, and especially Pud for the work that he did with me on this project for the past 2 semesters. He was a great help. I learned a lot. It was my first time editing videos, doing anything like that. I've done oral histories before, but so that was pretty cool. So where I got the idea to do this project actually came from me and another grad student. He's over there, Cade Grania. He's also graduating with me. We actually were leaving here one time, and there was a scholar that had come, and he was cooking a gumbo, and we thought about, there's always this debate about authenticity whenever it comes to food, and a lot of these scholars have done work and research into what makes a Cajun dish authentic and stuff. So I was wondering, it would be interesting if we would have these scholars and showcase their interpretations of what is authentic in our Cajun dishes. And then it kind of just went from there, and I decided that I wanted to highlight everyday people instead of just limiting myself to scholars. So this project was incredibly special for me, and I might get a little bit emotional. My grandparents were the first 2 people that I interviewed. My family, they were sharecroppers in Richard, didn't have the opportunity to go to college and everything. So, making it this far is really, really special to me. And, all of this is for my family. So, my 3 interviewees that I did first were my grandmother, her name is Faye Marie Richard Venable, and my grandfather, who was Albert Venable. He was the chief of police in Church Point for 30 years. And then my 3rd interviewee was Reggie Mott of Jambalaya Cajun Band. He's the accordionist. So I want to show you guys the website that I put together. It's posted on WordPress. This is where I'm uploading my little blog posts with pictures and the recipes and everything, as well as where the oral histories are housed. So it's called MeeMaw's Magnalite collection. It's named after my MeeMaw. She's 99 years old. She lives in Prairie Ronde. I do have an interview with her, but she doesn't really like the internet too much, so she doesn't want me to post it anywhere. It's going to be in the archive, maybe, if I can convince her. And yeah, that's another point. So all of the oral histories that I've conducted, they're housed at CLS, like the full oral histories that are not edited with music and cooking or anything like that. So if you really want to dive deep into what they're talking about, you can check those out once they're all uploaded and everything. So I have here, this is just my little, can anyone see it in the back? Like, is there a glare or anything? Okay. You can also look it up too on your phone if you'd like. Right here though, this is my prized Magnalite collection. This is Belton Richard's Magnalite collection. My neighbor and a good friend of mine is his son-in-law, so he gifted me his Magnalite collection. So that was really, really cool to have. So again, I have my interviewees right here. And here's my little logo that I've made. It's just a little MeeMaw, and she's got a gasoline with it's like the Acadian flag colors and everything. And I have my mission statement. So I'm going to take y'all to, let's go to my mission page. So I'm going to read my mission statement. So it's MeeMaw's Magnalite Collection, a Cajun recipe and oral history archive, is a public history project dedicated to the thoughtful collection, preservation, and presentation of oral histories highlighting Louisiana's Cajun community by providing free oral history services to individuals interested in the documentation of their lives and the exploration of identity, culture, and traditions. Its goal is to uplift the underrepresented and offer a broad audience the authentic representation of the diversity of Cajun culture accompanied by local interpretations of traditional dishes. So it's definitely a mouthful. So I have a little bit of thanking my colleagues and everything in here too. So I have another spot on my website that has recipes. So I have these little emojis to go with it. But for example, if you're thinking about making something seafood, you can go here, and I only have one so far. So if y'all want to cook some seafood for me, I have a business card y'all can take and y'all can come do an interview with me. But these you can just save them to your computer, so it's easy to pull up from anywhere. So there's a couple there, and we went to Montreal for a conference, and I was able to get this New France recipe book that's all in French. So it's some French Canadian recipes, so I'm going to be uploading those and translating them. So I'm going to take y'all to the oral histories part, and this is what it's looking like so far. So I'm going to go with my granny and just show y'all what a blog post is going to look like. So we just have where she's from, what she's making, picture of her, a little bit of the families that she came from, because there was a lot of discussion about genealogy in some of these presentations. Just some more pictures and everything, and then you get to the actual video, which is on YouTube. And then I have right here the full breakdown of the recipe, just in case they leave something out on accident or they just don't think about it to put it in their voiceover. But yeah, so it's a long thing. She's got a little recipe for pickled beets. I did not want pickled beets on my plate, so I didn't take a picture of it. So I just got this little picture. And then, of course, they're handwritten recipes. So yeah, that's a little bit of what the website looks like. So y'all can go take a look at that and contribute. I have a little contribute page as well. It gives you kind of a Q&A of what's an oral history, what's a voiceover, why do I need a release form, stuff like that. So it kind of breaks it down and makes it easy for someone who is not really familiar with this kind of work to get familiar with it so they can participate and stuff. So I'm going to show y'all a 10-minute clip that's kind of I just picked a couple of stories from each person and put it together, as well as their dishes and everything, just to kind of get a taste of what the full videos are like. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it up now. So I hope everyone can hear. Should be loud. Hope y'all enjoy. thumbnail. I think it came out pretty good.
I'm Faye Marie Richard Venable. I'm 72 years old. I'm originally from Richard. When we had Hurricane Audrey, and our barn was gone, and I had a nephew tell me that my sister, the little chickens were killed or hurt or whatever, and how it stayed with her, and it had an impact on her. And I keep telling, I don't know if it's correct or not, which I was supposed to check with my mother, but I think it had took our milk cow, but I'm not sure, because I remember watching the barn go down. I remember that, standing in the window and watching it just go down, and everybody crying and crying because we had never really had a hurricane like that, so we were not used to those kind of weathers. Honestly, I don't think we even knew what hit us. The communication system, today you watch TV and they tell you the hurricane's here, the hurricane's there, where it's going to hit, and who's going to hit, and we didn't have that kind of communication, so we were at a total loss. Picking cotton was fun to me. It was a new experience. Digging potatoes, we had to grade them and put them in the middle of the row, and you had big potatoes, medium potatoes, small potatoes, corn. We would shove that. Well, actually, we throw that. It had to dry up. Once it was dry, we throw that in the barn. And then we go, we had a machine, and you put the ear of corn in the machine, and you turn the crank, and you take all the corn off the cob, and feed chickens, feed whatever animal we had to feed. I remember those days. I had a cousin, always would follow us. They would want to be and play and whatever, and we couldn't make them understand that, guess what? They were too small, and so on and so forth. And one day they came for the barn, and we were shucking corn and grinding corn, and I picked up an ear of corn, and never in my wildest dream did I think I was gonna hit that person. I threw the corn, hit that person dead center in the forehead. That person, I got it explode. So blood came out, and Lord Jesus, I ran and hid in the bayou. It was a big bayou, but it was empty. They had no water in it. And hid there for hours and hours and hours, until I thought they had left. They were company had come. And until they left, and then I went home. I thought I was safe, but I wasn't, because my mom and my dad told me.
She did a steak and gravy and a corn mock shoe. And she kept trying to pull the one from the freezer. I said, Granny, you have to make it brand new. You can't just put it in the freezer.
My official given name when I was born was James Reginald Mott. And then my mom started calling me Reggie as the nickname right away, and it stuck, so everybody knows me by Reggie. Probably by the age of 5 or 6, I started getting interested in playing Cajun music. My dad said I started breaking his head with an accordion when I was 5 or 6. Well, for the Christmas of my 6th year, he bought me a little toy accordion. I don't remember that. He said, when I opened the box, he said, I saw it and I picked it up and I threw it on the floor. I said, that's not what I want a real one. That's when he told me, he said, well, son, you have to wait. I don't have the money to afford a real one. And so by the time I turned 8, he was able to afford one because there was a closeout at a store that was selling them for half price. So he bought me a little Horner accordion, and that's what I learned to play on. But once I got the accordion, then I spent a lot of my time practicing accordion. My grandfather, who I didn't know played accordion at the time, my dad's dad, Thomas Mott, was the one who showed me how to play. And so we'd see him every weekend. Either we'd go to their house or they'd come to our house. And he was the one that worked with me to teach me how to play. My dad had bought me an old reel-to-reel tape recorder. So I recorded playing my accordion. So during the week I'd follow behind him. And, then the following weekend, if there was a song that I didn't quite understand, then he'd help me out with it. That's how I learned. So growing up, I spent most of my time with music, learning how to playing records and listening to my grandfather. And I'd even bring my accordion to school sometimes. There was some talent shows, and I'd play the talent shows, and I'd play on the school bus. And that was basically my childhood. Because I played Cajun music and I spoke Cajun French, a lot of the kids that, not so much the kids that grew up in the country like I did, and because a lot of the kids that grew up like I did in the country had learned to speak French because their parents spoke French. But the kids that grew up in town, for some reason, maybe their parents didn't know how to speak French, or they felt that they were above us because they were raised in town instead of in the country. I felt like we were looked down upon because I spoke French and played Cajun music. They always teased me about playing that, they call it the chanky music. They'd laugh at me because I played Cajun music, but I never let it bother me. I mean, it's something that I had in my heart that I wanted to do, and by the time I was 13 years old, I started playing professionally.
He did a cornbread dressing and also a rice dressing using the same dressing mix. And then up next is my grandfather.
My name is Albert Venables Sr., and I live in Church Point, Louisiana. Most of back then, most of the ones that would go to college were kids of kind of wealthy people, unless there was no grants or anything like that to go to college. Most of them couldn't afford to go to college. I was thinking seriously of going to the Navy till I guess a few days before that. I got my greetings from Uncle Sam and decided to go ahead in the draft and took basic in Fort Polk, Louisiana. Went to Fort Knox, Kentucky in the Army Division, then went to Germany, spent 18 months in Germany, in Augsburg, Germany, and got my honorable discharge and came back home. I remember I was a young boy, probably old enough to remember, maybe 6, 7 years old. I had been sick, couldn't do anything, just running fever, high fever. Stayed in bed. Back then, the doctors would do a house call. We had a Dr. Keller here in Church Point, was one of our best doctors here. So if you call him, he'd come to the house and check on me and looked at me and examined me. He told my parents, he said, he has the measles. That's why I was running fever. So he left, and later on my grandmother, she was also would treat for just about anything under the sun. She come in and she looked at me and she says, he ain't got the measles, he's got the sunstroke. So, and I remember her treating me for the sunstroke, and within, I'd say now, a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours, I was outside playing with the other kids. I'd like people to understand, treating wasn't really a little hocus-pocus thing you did. It was really prayers that was said over the wound, the body, or wherever you ailed and was, but it was all prayers. It wasn't, jumping around the person, and it worked.
He made a crawfish etouffee. This is his signature recipe. My mom doesn't like it because he puts sugar in it. So. Just a little bit of sugar though. So then if y'all would like to watch more, you totally can. You can take a business card and my website's on it. My contact information's on it as well. If y'all are interested in doing an interview. Questions?
Yeah, if anybody has questions or comments for Kallie.
Can you cook those things?
Oh, yes. That's why I got Belle Richard's Magnalite. Because I can cook a little bit.
That's great.
And what I like to do on my Facebook, I like to cook things and post about it as well. And whenever I build up more of my recipes, I already did one, but I'm going to cook the recipes that they did in the episodes and stuff too, and like post it. Because I have a dedicated Facebook page that's for this project as well.
What time do we come on?
I'll make it my full-time job anytime.
Tell me about sugar in crochet touffee. I've never heard that.
You like sugar in your
So, it's kind of like, it helps caramelize whatever you're cooking. So a lot of people will add it, like, whenever they're toward the end of browning their meat. So it'll just help, like, darken your gravy a little bit. Because, like, if you notice, like, his etouffee was not red. It was like a brown, like, burgundy color. And it's because he cooks it low and slow, and he adds just a little bit of sugar to it. My mom definitely doesn't like it. She's like, it's too sweet for me, but it's not that sweet. But yeah, it's just for caramelization, making it better gravy.
Yeah.
Does anyone have questions on this side? We got a couple people.
Great job, Kallie.
Thank you.